We be live. Shalom, shalom, everyone. How's my audio? Have you liked the stream? Like the stream right now so that more people end up seeing this stream. I am going to be showing you some stuff that you might have seen in other places, but also some unique things about the Islamic Republic's reaction to the escalating tensions on an unimaginable level that we have never experienced when it comes to potential war between the United States and the Islamic Republic in Iran, escalated by Trump. This is historic. Never in history. Never, never, ever in history. This is not an exaggeration. You can challenge you on that if you want to correct me. Have we ever had the Islamic Republic in Iran getting this close to an outright war with the United States? This is a major escalation. Last week, or I think 2 weeks ago, last week, I forgot, Trump basically directly came out and said that there might be military attacks, but this time he escalated very fast. Things are changing on a daily basis on speeds that we are not accustomed to here. This is a major threat. And this is the Truth Social post that you're seeing Trump has made that we're going to go over. And a lot of what Trump has said is on English media and English mainstream and alternative media. But what is not on other streams that we will get to is the Iranian regime being extremely afraid. They're pissing their pants, and I will show you demonstrations of how they're. It's so amazing. They're very, 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 very strong until somebody actually comes and threatens them significantly. Then they be afraid, very, very afraid. Yes. So yeah, the IRGC versus USA, guys. Again, I don't know if there's going to be an outright war or not, but this is a major escalation. Let me tell you why this is a major escalation. Because Trump has made it very clear that he considers any attack by the Houthis on United States Navy ships to be the Islamic Republic's attacks on the United States, and it would be responded to militarily. Right, this is a huge escalation, and we will go over everything that has happened. We'll go over the Trump administration, what they are saying, and also the way that Trump attacked the Houthis is a demonstration. It's a warning about the type of attack they would be doing on Iranian soil if it comes to it. Yes, long live Iran. Yes, exactly. So let's watch what's happening, guys. Have you liked the stream? Again, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you guys to spend half a goddamn second to like the stream so that more people watch this, because I will bring you some unique perspectives that you're not going to see in other places. Oh, by the way, thank you so much, Brandish. Thank you so much for becoming a member, guys. We're trying to get to 1,000 members. Actually, let me reduce that so that it's achievable. We are 240 members. We're trying to get to 250 members. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's get us to a quarter way there. Let's aim for 250. So we are 10 members short. Now we're 9 members short. So thank you so much for being a member. This really helps. Yeah, maybe okay, I will respond to those later when okay, let me actually start with the last escalation first, and then we will go over how we got here. Let me know, guys, in the live chat. Do you guys want me to do I'll first do the major latest escalation on what just happened, okay, because everything just went to 0 to 100 very, very fast, because this is very interesting, because Trump wasn't talking about the Islamic Republic situation for a while. Like, he was occupied with the tariffs, with the woke stuff, with the Ukraine, especially with the Ukraine stuff, with Canada and Mexico. Like, a lot of people are like, hey, maybe like the whole Iran thing is like not that, like that. He forgot to talk about it for a while, and then when he started talking about it, all hell just like, look at this, look what just happened. Anyways, let's watch this first. We'll look at the latest major escalation, but let me know in the live chat. After that, do you want me to go and see how we got here? based on what the Trump administration was talking about, why they did this and how we got here, or you want me to go to the Iranian response to this escalation first? Let me know in the chat which one do you prefer. So let's first start with this major escalation that just started.
Welcome back. President Trump has a renewed warning to Iran and the Houthis, the rebel group Tehran backs in Yemen. President warning the Houthis against any further attempts at retaliation after it failed in targeting the USS Harry Truman.
The USS Harry Truman, guys, the Houthis are as insane, but I will tell you why. It actually makes sense why they do this, because they cross red lines that no other proxies of the Islamic Republic crosses, and the Islamic Republic itself does not cross. Okay, let me tell you how major, how crazy these people are. Right, when not only the proxies of the Islamic Republic don't dare do such things, right? Okay. Even the Islamic Republic itself, in response to the killing of Qasem Soleimani, the terrorist murderer Qasem Soleimani, when they wanted to do retaliation, they targeted a military base in Iraq called Ain al-Assad, and they warned the Americans first to take their troops out of there so that no Americans die, because they're afraid of the consequences of Americans die, right? But the Houthis, the freaking Houthis, they have no chill. Okay, they have no chill. We have evidence that every time they attacked American Navy, around the Red Sea and stuff, they aimed for killing American soldiers. And do you guys understand the consequences of them actually being successful at such an attack like that, especially when it comes to such a major asset of the US? This is why I think this is one reason why Trump came out swinging, right? Hey, Dr. Metal, first time here. Okay, yeah, first time here. Really interested in listening already. Okay. By the way, Sarah, let me know what people are saying. Should I do the Iranian, the Islamic Republic's response first, or should I, after this, we go to, Marco Rubio, Hexman, and Waltz, and see what they are saying to see how we got here. Okay, let me know which one that people want to do first. Okay, so let's watch this.
President also saying, quote, every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran, and Iran will be held responsible. Now, this warning.
By the way, every time he says Iran, guys, in your mind, change it to the Islamic Republic, because here on this channel, we differentiate between the Iranian people and the regime. So whenever they say Iran, in our head, we hear the Iranian regime or the Islamic Republic, but not Iran, okay? This is not Iran. The government in Iran does not represent the Iranian people, okay? So just replace that in your head every time they say that.
From the weapons and leadership of Iran, and Iran will be held responsible. Now, this warning comes after a wave of deadly U.S. airstrikes on Saturday targeting Houthi-held areas inside Yemen. Dozens were killed in these attacks.
Right. Actually, let's look at Trump's. There's 2 posts by Trump. Oh wow, Jackie, thank you so much. We got a pink super chat. Thank you so much, Jackie from Australia. Well, thank you. That's very. Oh my God, thank you guys. That's very generous. Wow, this is amazing support, guys. Channels the size of us doesn't get support like this. We have a very dedicated community here. Thank you, Jackie. That's very, very generous. Appreciate that. That's like, wow. Okay, I was shocked. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to. There's 2 posts. I don't know if let nobody be fooled. Are they okay? I think they're the same. Are they the same? Yes, they're the same. So let's just look at this one. Okay, let nobody be fooled. This is Trump on Truth Social. But by the way, guys, I cannot do a Trump impression or any type of impression, but if I could, this would be a good time to do it. So it's sad that I don't have that talent. I'm sad that I can't do that, but okay, but whatever. So Trump is saying, let nobody be fooled. The hundreds of attacks being made by the Houthi, the sinister mobsters and thugs based in Yemen, who are hated by the Yemeni people. Do we have stats for that, by the way? How hated are the Houthis by the Yemeni people? I hope that's true. Where does he get that from? Where does he get that from? Maybe should we look into it? Okay. Let me know if you want me to look into it. Okay. Let me actually, I could do something very quickly. Okay. Who are hated by Yemeni people are, okay. I'm going to bring, maybe I'll ask ChatGPT to look this up. How about that? Let me see if that's true really quick. Are the Houthis hated in Yemen? Okay, so I'm going to turn on the search option on, see if it could look up anything for us. Okay, so who are hated by Yemeni people are, all emanate from and are created by Iran, by the Islamic Republic, he means. And guys, this is actually true. This is not, I don't know about if they're hated by the Yemeni people. I will look that up very soon. But this has been verified by a lot of intelligence, okay? And the Islamic Republic supports the Houthis in so many different ways. Financially, that has been verified. Military equipment, that has been verified, okay? Training, that has been verified. Intelligence sharing, that has been verified. That has completely been, all four of these that I mentioned have been verified. Okay, so when the Houthis do anything, is because the Islamic Republic has made them able to do these things. All of this has been verified. That part is true. Houthis being, just give me a short answer. I didn't ask for an essay. Short answer. Yes, the Houthi movement in Yemen. Okay, that's not what I was asking. Idiot. Okay, let me try this again. Get to the point. Let's try this. All right, let's continue. So that's the first part I'm going to check again, but that second part is any further. Okay, so here's the part where everything got escalated. Any further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force. That's a military threat. And this is guys, the reason why this is a major escalation is because as true as it is that the Houthis are, everything that the Houthis do is because of the Islamic Republic, it's not true that the Islamic Republic has absolute control over the Houthis, right? So here's how, let me give you an example so that everybody understands how this works, okay? It's not like the Islamic Republic commands the Houthis and they follow, right? The idea is that the Islamic Republic understands what the Houthis do, so they just give them the equipment and the know-how and the training to be able to do it without them having to order them to do it, right? So here's an example. Imagine if I find a psychopath murdering, serial killer, right? That is very interested in families that have, multiple children in them, right? And I hate, like imagine if somebody hates another person and you have children and he wants to take revenge of you. So he doesn't order the serial killer to go to your house and do anything. He knows that that's what he does. It doesn't require any ordering. So it just tells the serial killer, for example, your address, how to get to your home, how many children do you have, where their bedrooms are, right? What type of security your house has. Maybe he gives even some equipment. It gives the man some money to be able to purchase other things that it requires, right? So it doesn't like that person that wants to take revenge of you. He's not telling the serial killer to do anything, but he knows that with this information and the resources, he will do it anyways, right? So it's not like an ordering. It's just like it will do what it does. It's nature, right? So this is why the Islamic Republic is now in a very horrible situation, because Trump is saying anything that the Houthis do is now going to be considered an action by the Islamic Republic. And the Islamic Republic is thinking like, oh, fuck, how do we undo this? Because as setting the Houthis loose upon American Navy is one thing, but they don't have a leash over them. You know what I mean? To get them back is not like the Houthis are not going to be that responsive to the Islamic Republic. Like the Islamic Republic, if they comes and tell, like sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. There have been evidence of frustration between them sometimes, right? So I mean, there's some control, but there's not absolute control. So it's very interesting to see if the Islamic Republic, even if it wanted to, you know, the Houthis have been enabled to carry out these attacks because of the Islamic Republic. But I don't know if the Islamic Republic can clean up its own mess if it wanted to. I don't know if they can. I'm not sure about that. So we'll see, right? Do you understand my analogy? Does it make sense? Let me know if it makes sense, everything that I just tell you, okay? Oh, let me actually see what the ChatGPT. Okay. Yes, the Houthis are deeply unpopular among Yemenis. Okay, so Trump was right about that as well, apparently. Despite controlling regions housing approximately 70 to 80% of the population, their governance is viewed negatively by the majority. Oh, interesting. Okay, I did not know that. I never thought I would be able to learn some facts from Trump. Okay. Trump actually is correct about this. Okay. A survey conducted in mid 2024 revealed that the Houthi controlled areas only in the Houthi controlled areas, only 8% of the respondents held positive view of the group, while in government controlled regions, this approval dropped to 3%. This widespread disapproval. Okay. So Trump was right about that. Interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Learn something today. So yeah, any further attack or retaliation. So this is why I think this is a major escalation and it could cause outright war. Because if Trump says any further attack or retaliation by the Houthis will be met with great force, what we know about the Houthis is that the Houthis are going to attack. Like, this is not going to stop them, and the Iranian regime is not going to be stop them. So if this is inevitable, is an outright war inevitable? Oh, Muhammad is saying that's interesting facts about them. And how do these assholes then have them massive rallies, or is it just selective imagery video that make them look popular? Guys, even if you have 1% support, you could do mass rallies. Mass rallies doesn't show popular support. Do you understand? Like 1% of a huge population. Do you understand? If you want to have a huge rally, do you know that the numbers that takes for you to do that is like in the tens of thousands? Tens of thousands is nothing. You could demonstrate impressive high numbers of people doing a mass rally with 1% support, because it only takes tens of thousands to show a very impressive videos and imageries of mass rallies. So don't judge the amount of support different groups have based on their rallies that they have. You only rely on statistics. This is a very important thing. That good question, Mohammed. It's important that we understand here on this channel. Okay. Any further attack occurred, and there is no guarantee that that force will stop there. Iran has played the innocent. This shows again. I have my criticisms from Trump from time to time. You guys know we have criticized Trump here. We're not black and white here. When he says something right, we say that's right. When he says something wrong, we say that's wrong. Okay. We have been very fair here on this channel. I mean, we have been trying to be very fair on this channel. Okay. However, I have to admit, what he's saying here shows an unexpected level of awareness of the game that the Islamic Republic is playing here. And this surprised me that he knows this. This actually surprised me that Trump knows this, because listen to what he says here. He says Iran has played the innocent victim of rogue terrorists from which they've lost control, but they haven't lost control. So what he is referring to is that the Islamic Republic, when they think that they have the upper hand, they come out and say, oh, the Houthis are our proxies. Look how powerful we are, that even with just the Houthis, we're causing so much trouble for the world. But as soon as there is some level of threat to the Islamic Republic because of the Houthis, they come out and say, Houthi who? What? Who? No, no. Like, we just, what? We don't know. These people are independent. They have nothing to do with us. They make their own decisions. We have no influence over them. So I think Trump is referring to that, to this game that the Islamic Republic plays. And Donald Trump here is saying, yeah, no, no. The Houthis, if they do something, it's, guys, we remember how this works, right? This is basically the same game that the Islamic Republic played with Hamas, right? October 7th, we congratulate October 7th. Good job, Hamas. That's what they said. However, we didn't have anything to do with it. Hamas is an independent organization, or they just did themselves. It wasn't us. We clap, we appreciate, we congratulate them for a successful operation. However, they did it by themselves. And by the way, guys, on this channel, what did we say from the very beginning? I like, nope. There must have been some elements of the Islamic Republic that were directly aware and involved with the operations of October 7th. And more evidence came out recently that showed that we were right. We were correct. Most of what we say in this channel at some point we get some verification of it being true. We just had recent evidence that shows that there were three different types of plan, and the Islamic Republic basically greenlit the second one, but then the third one went through. It's very interesting. I don't know if I should do a show on that, but it was greenlit. October 7th was greenlit by certain people within the Islamic Republic. So that there, and again, so when they say here, when the Islamic Republic says like, oh no, the Houthis, who? We don't know the Houthis. They are independent. We have nothing to do with them. We are friends with them. We support them, but we don't actually direct them what to do. Bull fucking shit. I mean, you technically, sometimes it's true that you didn't direct them, but you knew what was going to happen if you supported them. Okay, and again, it's not black and white. You are going to find examples of them actually pressuring them to do certain things, and there are examples of situations where the Houthis did something where the Islamic Republic didn't want. So you can find examples of both, but this is a spectrum. It's not as black and white as a lot of people or the Islamic Republic tries to make it seem. All right, so but Trump is going on like, you know what? F you guys. The Houthis are your project, so whatever they do, it's on you. It's on you. So here, let's read the rest. They're dedicating every move. Oh, they're dictating. Okay, this might be an exaggeration. Okay, this is an exaggeration somewhat. But it's fine. But we like it. What Trump is saying here is a bit of an exaggeration, but I welcome it, because that means that the Islamic Republic is going to be responsible for everything the Houthis do. Everything the Houthis do. So this is good. So they're dictating every move, giving them the weapons. They're giving them the weapons. Supplying, the dictating part is an exaggeration, but giving them the weapons is true. Supplying them with money, that's true. And highly sophisticated military equipment, that's true. And even so-called intelligence, in quotation, I mean, it's real intelligence, but okay. Every shot fired by the Houthis will be looked upon from this point forward as being a shot fired from the weapons and leadership of Iran. Wow. And Iran will be held responsible. Wow. And suffer the consequences. Wow. And the consequences will be dire. Wow. Wow. Guys, we are close. I don't know if there's going to be a full-on confrontational head-to-head war between the United States and the Islamic Republic, but we have never, I repeat, we have never been this close. Never been this close. Let's look at the Islamic Republic's reaction. So look at this guy. Okay. So look at this. These are some of the these are the Friday prayer imams handpicked as mouthpieces as Khamenei in major cities in Iran, right? So if you guys don't know how this works, the Friday prayer imams, where people come and pray behind and on Friday in Iran. They're handpicked by the office of the supreme leadership, which is Khamenei, Ali Khamenei, and they are considered to. They are not just people who are just you pray behind. They are people who do a khutbah with the Friday prayer, and they set they. It's a way for Khamenei to basically set the tone and introduce everybody, all the people who are loyal to the supreme leader, to understand what the correct narrative is. So when you see a Friday prayer giving a speech, in many cases, not all, but in many cases, uh, uh, you could see that as the narrative that Khamenei wants to be setting across Iran. The reason why I say in many cases, not all, is because in some cases the Friday Imam prayers become so powerful that they want to set their own agenda, right? So, for example, in Mashhad, we have the person who we call you know, Alam al-Huda, which we call him Iranian Santa Claus, because he really looks like Santa Claus, right? He is very powerful, so he has his own agenda. Sometimes he's competing with Khamenei. Anyways, getting we're getting too off topic. Anyway, so let's listen to what this guy is saying. Okay. So this is okay. This is his name is Hosseini Boushiri. Oh yeah, so but yeah, let me actually give you the context. So Trump, before these recent escalations by Trump, Trump communicated that the only thing he wants the Islamic Republic to do is to show that they don't have nuclear weapons. Nothing else. That's all. That's all that he wanted, and everything else doesn't matter, right? And other people are like, "What the hell? Oh, shouldn't you be requesting that the Islamic Republic doesn't support terrorist groups, its proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, Kataib Hezbollah, Hashd Shabi, Fatimiyun, all of these different groups? Shouldn't that be a condition? Shouldn't you be also putting a condition that the ballistic missiles that could be threatening Israel, for those to be removed? Shouldn't there be a lot more conditions other than just the nuclear condition? But it's interesting because when Trump was signing the executive order putting maximum pressure on the Islamic Republic, the executive order that he was assigning was asking for so much more. But the words that were coming out of his mouth was like, all I want is for them to not have nuclear weapons. But the executive order was asking for so much more. So there was a bit of a confusion. What does Trump want? Is Trump satisfied with the Islamic Republic just stopping the enrichment of uranium and putting guarantees in place that they're never going to be nuclear, or does he want more? So some people analyze that by saying, well, this is the art of the deal. All he wants is for the Islamic Republic not to have nuclear weapons, but he's starting with more of an ask, so eventually he could get what he wants. That's how the art of the deal works, right? However, with this recent escalation with regards to the Houthis, Trump has came out and said, like, no, if anything that the Houthis do, we will retaliate on the Islamic Republic. So this is not nuclear, right? This is beyond nuclear. So this is a major escalation. But let me actually first show you, in regards to nuclear, what this guy is saying, and then this is Ghalib. No, not Ghalib. This is Salami. They both look a little bit the same. That's why I said Ghalib. This is one of the highest ranking of officers of the IRGC, right? Hold on. Let me make sure. Yeah. So let's play this mullah first.
رهبری بارها فرموده که اصلا ما مبناً معتقده نه به تولید سلاح هسته‌ای نه نگهداری سلاح هسته‌ای و نگیری سلاح هسته‌ای هستیم.
Right, so this guy is saying that they accuse us of wanting nuclear weapons, but we never wanted nuclear weapons. We never. Our supreme leader has always communicated that we're never going to make a nuclear weapon. So what the hell they're asking us?
نگهداری سلاح هسته‌ای و گیری سلاح هسته‌ای هستیم با چه بیانی مطرح کنیم این رو؟
Like, how do we tell these Americans that we never wanted nuclear weapons? Okay, so this is this really shows that they're afraid, because they used to be like, oh, how dare you want things from us, we do whatever we want. And now that the threat level is rising, instead it's saying like, oh, how do we tell you we never wanted nuclear weapons? This is a demonstration of fear.
با چه بیانی مطرح کنیم؟
All right, so by the way, do not ever buy this bullshit, okay? We know, we have evidence that even when they did the deal, when they signed the Obama deal, with regards to giving up their uranium enrichment, we have evidence. We have audio evidence and communication with, Fakhrizadeh and everybody, that throughout that entire time they were still looking for making nuclear weapons. We have evidence that they were enriching uraniums in hidden sites throughout the entire time that the nuclear deal with Obama was signed. So they were always they were never abiding by the deal that they signed with Obama. And today, even if today they say like, oh, we want nuclear energy for peaceful purposes and bullshit like that, I see people like Kyle Kulinski from Secular Talk always says that fucking bullshit. A lot of leftist YouTubers say like, oh my God, this is so abusive to the Islamic Republic. They always communicated that they want nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. Bull fucking shit. They're enriching uranium to 60%. And everybody knows that you don't. The only reason why you enrich uranium to that level is for nuclear weapons. Like, if you actually go look it up, this is it makes absolutely no sense. For research purposes or for energy purposes, you do not enrich uranium to 60%. So this is absolutely fucking bullshit, and everybody knows that they're trying to create nuclear weapons, and they have always been trying to do that, and they have never been giving up. So that's fucking bullshit, right? But let's go to this Salami guy. And yeah, that's really his name. All right. So watch this. Oh yeah, by the way, Tucker Carlson has recently been spewing a lot of bullshit regarding not attacking the Islamic Republic and being close to the freaking Qataris. Like, what is happening to the fucking conservatives? Like, some conservatives are losing their mind. Why is Tucker Carlson becoming the mouthpiece of the Qatari government? What the fuck is wrong with him? And also talking about like not attacking whitewashing the Islamic Republic. Guys, I told you some of these crazy, like, we have a lot of crazy on the far left, but some conservatives are freaking insane. Okay, so just be mindful of them as well. Yeah, again, people are saying salami isn't halal. Well, this one version of it, apparently it is. Anyways, let's watch this one. Let's see what he said.
رئیس جمهور آمریکا عملیاتی که یمنی ها.
So he's saying once again the president of the United States
انصارالله یمن انجام میدهد را به نوعی به جمهوری اسلامی ایران منتسب کرد.
So he's saying once again the president of the United States is relating the things that the Houthis are doing with the Islamic Republic. Okay, so he's trying to say that's bullshit, right? By the way, guys, remember when we're talking about the Houthis, there are three words: Yemen, Houthis, and Ansarullah. Okay, so the way Yemen, we all know Yemen. Okay, the Houthis don't control all of Yemen, and they're not the official government of Yemen. They only control parts of it, the most populated parts. Right? Ansarullah is the name of the group that is mostly controlled by the Houthis, but I think my understanding is that there's some other people in it as well. But Ansarullah is just the name of the group that they have. Okay, so that's what Ansarullah means. Okay, so let's continue. Yes, Auntie, as I'm saying, Tucker also simps for Putin. Yeah, he has all the fucking wrong takes. That man is like all the shit takes comes from. Yeah, so maybe I should do a video fucking responding to that.
انصارالله دست بردارند. ما
wait, what?
ایران هشدار داد که از حمایت از
and saying that the Trump has warned that Iran, better fuck you. You're not Iran. You're the Islamic Republic. Okay. He's saying that Trump warned that Iran should stop supporting the Houthis.
انصارالله دست بردارند. ما همیشه اعلام کرده ایم
Like we have always announced,
امروز هم بنده به عنوان
we have always said, and today as well we will.
خادم سپاه پاسداران انقلاب
And today I, as a staff, as a server, as somebody who serves for the IRGC,
اسلامی اعلام میکنم یمنی ها یک ملت مستقل و آزاد در سرزمین خود هستند.
he's saying, I announce as a member of the IRGC, as somebody who serves as the IRGC. By the way, he's the head of IRGC. He just doesn't serve. But he said, I as IRGC, I've always said this, and I will say this again today, that the Yemenis are an independent nation. And first of all, that's fucking bullshit, because if you're talking about Yemenis, the Houthis and Yemenis are not the same thing. Okay? The Houthis, I mean, look how far away from reality what he's saying is. Like he's basically using the word Yemenis and Houthis interchangeably, right? First of all, Houthis do not control all of Yemen. Second of all, the Houthis are not the official government of Yemen. Thirdly, even the parts of Yemen that they control, apparently, based on what we just saw right now, they have very, very low support, even in the place that they control. So in the same way that he acts like he is Iran, like the IRGC and Iran are the same thing, which they're not. They couldn't be farther apart. It's also wrong to use the word Yemeni as an independent nation, in a way to and the Houthis interchangeably. That's not the same. If Yemenis were independent, the Houthis wouldn't be speaking out for them. Okay, so they're not independent. They have been occupied by the Houthis apparently. So yeah, all wrong in so many different levels.
آنها دارای سیاست مستقل ملی هستند.
It's like they have an independent national policy. Apparently not, based on the stats that we just saw.
انصارالله.
So, but guys, everything he's saying he's trying to separate IRGC from Ansarullah. He's trying to separate the Islamic Republic from the Houthis, because when they woke up and they saw the post from Trump, they shat their pants. Okay, so he's here now trying to do damage control, trying to tell the world that, guys, they're just doing their own shit. Please do not attack us. And I will tell you why they are so afraid. I will tell you why they're so afraid.
به عنوان نماینده یمنی ها انصارالله به عنوان نماینده یمنی ها تصمیمات راهبردی و عملیاتیش را خودش اتخاذ می کند.
So he's saying Ansarullah, which is the Houthis, they, as the representative of Yemenis, they decide their decisions themselves. Like they make their decisions themselves.
جمهوری اسلامی ایران نقشی در تنظیم سیاست‌های ملی یا عملیاتی هیچ جریانی از جبهه مقاومت از جمله انصارالله یمن ندارد.
So he's saying the Islamic Republic has no role, basically, in the military or national policies or operations of any of the members of the Axis of Resistance. You know, the Axis of Resistance, including the Houthis. So he's basically saying all of the people, all of the groups within the Axis of Resistance, which is the Islamic Republic, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, Kataeb, Fatimiyun, Hashd-e-Shabi, all of the former Assad government, all of that, they are all independent, which is bullshit. Like, yeah, like, I mean, they do have sometimes different agendas, but everybody understands the Axis of Resistance is with the leadership of the IRGC and the Islamic Republic. Everybody knows that. So, I mean, these are the very same people who used to brag about it, that they have expanded the borders of their Shia empire from all, from Yemen, all to Syria, to Iraq, to Lebanon, all the way to the very borders right next to Tel Aviv. And eventually they promise that these borders will eventually expand to capture Jerusalem, capture Tel Aviv, and eventually capture Mecca. They have songs about this. There's a famous songs about this that they say, they songs that they sing in front of Ayatollah Khamenei. That the highlight of the song is "Glory be upon the day that the green flag of Saudi Arabia is written upon it. Ali's name is written upon it instead of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah." So they want to capture Saudi Arabia to eventually add it to their Shia empire at some point, or their Axis of Resistance empire. And they're going to change. They brag about removing the Shahadatain, which is like Islamic one of the main pillars of Islam. Removing that and adding Ali's name on top of the on the green flag of Saudi Arabia. Right. So I wish I could play that song here for you guys, but I think I'm going to get copyright stricken. So I'm not doing that. But yeah. Yo Ali, yeah, people are saying, Yo Ali, oh Ali.
این حرفی که من میزنم واقعیت است. ما به
like he's saying that what I'm saying here is the truth. So he's emphasizing that, guys, like we do not control the Houthis. Please do not, please, Daddy Trump, please do not fuck us the way you fuck the Houthis. We are not related. We do not control these people. Please, Daddy Trump, do not come for us. Please. That's what he's saying, basically.
ما به عنوان جمهوری اسلامی ایران هر کجا و هرگاه عمل کنیم واضح و آشکار مسئولیت آن را به عهده میگیریم.
He's saying we, the Islamic Republic, whenever we do any types of operation anywhere, we will clearly and transparently come and take responsibility for it. Bullshit. These people have themselves bragged about the fact that their proxies gives them the ability of plausible deniability with their operations. So basically, the Islamic Republic always wanted to have its cakes and eat it too, to be able to do its terrorist operations in the region without making it very obvious that this is direct, like without making it having some level of plausible deniability that this was directly done by the Islamic Republic, so that it could attack Israel, it could attack United States bases, or it could also attack even other enemies, Muslim enemies that it has in the region, for expanding its influence, actually especially Muslim enemies that it has in the region, while pretending that it was not the Islamic Republic when it's convenient, but also bragging that it was the Islamic Republic when it was convenient. Every fucking analyst of the Middle East knows that this whole plausible deniability is a major strategy that the Islamic Republic has with its proxies, okay? And that red line was crossed when the Islamic Republic started sending missiles to Israel directly itself, especially after most of its proxies were done for. Like, I mean, the Islamic Republic now has the Houthis are the only remaining proxies of the Islamic Republic that could carry such operations, right? Because basically, after October 7th, I mean, the Islamic Republic lost Hamas's ability to use Hamas as for operations. Hezbollah is down. Assad is down. Iraq, we're in the process of the proxies of the Islamic Republic going down in Iraq. So the only one that is remaining I mean, actually, in Afghanistan, the Taliban is not letting the Fatimiyyun do the things that they used to do. So yeah, they lost their after the Taliban came into power, they're losing their control over there as well. So the only remaining proxy that they have is the Houthis. That's why when they went to retaliate against Israel, they actually had to use their own missiles for the first time, having the Israel and the Islamic Republic going to war directly instead of through proxies. So everything that he's saying here is absolute fucking bullshit. And if you fall for it, you're an idiot. Let's continue.
ما ملتی نیستیم که در خفا زندگی کنیم. ما یک نظام معتبر به رسمیت شناخته شده در جهان هستیم. به هر کجا
Wait. I was distracted.
جهان هستیم. ما ملتی نیستیم که در خفا زندگی کنیم. ما یک نظام معتبر به رسمیت شناخته شده در جهان هستیم.
He's bragging about the regime of Iran being an official regime that has been recognized by the world. I mean, okay, yes, your existence has been recognized as the regime in power in Iran. I mean, weird flex, but okay. Sure. Yeah, okay. Like that's a weird brag. That's a weird brag. Imagine a government of a country coming like, yes, we the government of, I don't know, let's say Kenya, or imagine Germany. Germany comes out like, yes, people of the world, we are so great because we have the government of Germany. We're so great that we have been officially recognized by the entire world as the government of Germany. We have been officially recognized. Wow. Oh, slow clap. Okay, sure. I mean, the fact that this is what you have to brag about shows like the levels of your accomplishments. Muhammad is saying, I wonder if he personally believes the nonsense that comes from his mouth, or is it only for the regime supporter audience? I really do wonder. Yeah, I don't know what goes on into these people. Yeah, low bar brag. Yeah, I know it, guys. Exactly.
میگوییم از هر کسی حمایت کنیم میگوییم.
Like so he says whenever we support anybody, we will tell you bull fucking shit. I have evidence for it that you do not say that, okay? Because for a long time, these mofos were selling drones to Putin, right? And at first it came like, oh my God, Putin is using Shahed drones against Ukraine. And the Islamic Republic was like, nah, nope. I'm like, what are you talking about? These are Shahed drones made by you. They are in Ukraine. You gave these to Putin, and the Islamic Republic, no. Nope. And then all the evidence came out, and they're like, yes. And they're like, okay. The Islamic Republic came out and said, like, okay, we gave these drones to Putin. At first they were saying no, and then they said, no, we gave it to Putin before the Ukraine-Russia war started. And then Russia bragged about it, and people were like, then they're like, yeah, actually we are selling these drones to Putin, and look at us. We're so powerful that a world superpower is buying drones from us. Haha, that's fucking great. Look how powerful we are. Motherfuckers, you were denying that you're selling drones to Putin for a fucking long time, and then until it became undeniable. So you're never honest about these things. Oh, for example, here's another thing. When the Islamic Republic sent its forces to defend Assad, okay, for after the Arab Spring, they tried to keep it hidden. And every time their soldiers died in Syria, they secretly moved their dead soldiers back to Iran without announcing anything about it. Okay, guys, because at that point when the Islamic Republic was sending soldiers to Syria to defend Assad, Assad was not fighting ISIS. Assad was fighting the Syrian people who just wanted democracy. at that point. And then when ISIS rose, then the Islamic Republic came out to say like, oh yes, we have soldiers in Syria fighting ISIS. And then the Iranian people were like, motherfuckers, you guys were sending these soldiers to Syria before ISIS, fighting against the Syrian people to defend Assad. And then we're like, no, we were there to defend ISIS. And then eventually one of their own major leaders came out and said like, yeah, we were in Syria before ISIS. We were fighting the Syrian people. Like, you are never honest about these things. This is fucking bullshit. Like, oh, this idiot is coming and, I mean, he thinks that he could fool people by saying like, oh yeah, whenever we support somebody, we're completely honest and transparent about it. Every time that you eventually became honest about it is because people managed to figure it out themselves and then eventually came and admitted it because it was too inconvenient to hide it at that point.
واضح همانطور که در گذشته در عملیات‌های وعده صادق و قبل از آن هر اقدامی را که انجام دادیم رسما مسئولیت آن را به عهده گرفتیم.
Look at this. He's saying that in the same way that when we in the Sadiq operations, Amaliyat Sadiq 1-2, that they these are the name of the operations when the Islamic Republic sent missiles and drones from its own soil to Israel. Quite recently, they did that twice, right? Remember that, guys? Okay. So he's saying just when we did that, we took complete responsibility and we were transparent that this is us. That means that whenever we do operations, we're honest about it. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you took responsibility for that? How could you have not? The missiles were being launched from Iranian soil. Of course you took responsibility for that. How could you have not taken? You see the logic that he's using here is like, we're not supporting the Houthis. And here's my evidence. When we sent missiles from our soil to Israel, we took responsibility for that. We said that was us. That means that whenever we do something, we're honest about it. You fucking moron. How could you not be honest about that? The missiles were leaving your soil. Are you The missiles were being launched from your fucking soil. They were being recorded with satellites in real time. Of course you're going to take responsibility for that.
دلیلی ندارد که ما کاری را انجام بدهیم و مسئولیت آن را به عهده نگیریم.
He's saying there is no reason for us to do something and don't accept responsibility for it. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because I can think of multiple reasons. The main one being you guys being afraid about the consequences of accepting the responsibility. Because dealing with the army of the United States and Israel combined might make you shit your pants. That might be a very obvious reason why you wouldn't take responsibility. How about that? How about that? You fucking hell. What is this guy saying? Oh my God. Or and saying also we won't accept or we don't also accept responsibility for something without actually doing it. So he's saying we never do something without accepting responsibility for it, or not do something and accept responsibility for it. Okay. Like this, he's saying this is not how we are. Bullshit. Like, however, I warn all our enemies
ما هر تهدیدی را اگر جنبه عملی به خود بگیرد با واکنشی سرسختانه و قاطع و ویرانگر.
He's saying that if any threat against us actually happens, takes place, we will respond destructively and decisively. Okay, sure, buddy. Let's see what happens. Let's see what you're gonna do. By the way, guys, let me actually tell you who this guy is. This was Hossein Salami, is a prominent Iranian military officer who serves as the commander-in-chief of the Iranian of this, not the Iranian, actually, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Actually, it's very, there's, the IRGC is famous for not having anything Iran related in their name. It's all just Islam, Islam, Islam. Right, and they're actually it's very interesting because in Iran there's two militaries right now. One of them is the Artesh, and the other one is the IRGC. The official stated goal of the Artesh is to protect the border integrity of Iran, but the official stated goal of the IRGC is to export the Islamic revolution across the world, and there's nothing about Iran in it. The IRGC is designed to spend Iran, to completely deplete Iran of all its human and natural resources in an effort to export the Islamic revolution across the world. And this guy is the highest ranking official in the IRGC. He's the commander-in-chief of the IRGC. So when it comes to, yeah, there's nobody higher than him in the IRGC. There used to be the highest official, the highest person in the IRGC was not even the commander-in-chief. It used to be Qasim Soleimani, which was the leader of Quds, which is a part of the IRGC. But even though it's a part of the IRGC, Qasim Soleimani used to be the highest, the most important person within the IRGC. But now that he's dead, they have never been able to produce anything remotely resembling him. I mean, look at him, the way he talks. Qasim Soleimani, he had a level of charisma that really worked with him everywhere, worked for him everywhere that he went. But this guy, the way he speaks, like there's no charisma. He doesn't know how to speak, properly in a way that a lot of people would want to follow him. So that's why the IRGC has never been able to replace Qasim Soleimani in any way. But let's actually go see how we got here, which is very interesting. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Let's remove this. So this is Waltz. Guys, we have to remember, guys, we really have to remember these names. Michael Waltz. Okay, so this is the advisor, military advisor to Trump. Okay. So I know a lot of you here are not Americans, but it's important for us to understand who's who. I actually struggle with names as well, but it's important for us to try. All right. But let me see your comments. For Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, Armin, will you do a stream about Trump's deportation of terrorist sympathizers? Let me know if you want me to do that. I might do that because I have a lot of things to say about that. Let me know in the comments after the stream is over to see if you want me to do that. Juris saying, I love you, Susie and Armin and AR team. Armin, please do review Economics Explained videos here as well. I bet stocks going back up like crazy if Islamic Republic is removed from power. I don't know if this channel, a lot of people want me to do economic analysis. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I might do that because that's actually what I studied. Mohammed saying, Armin, can I ask, as an Iranian, would you specifically want a U.S. military intervention targeting the regime in Iran directly, or do you prefer sanctions, political isolation, etc.? Depends on the type of the attack. If the attacks are on military bases, nuclear bases, but not the Bushehr one, not nuclear bases, I'm talking in places where deep in the mountain and they're enriching uranium, not the places where they're turning uranium into energy, because if you target those, there's going to be a lot of contamination. But if you target and those places are not important militarily anyways, if you target the places where you enrich uranium, the contamination is very limited, and also those are the ones that are important for military purposes. So and also taking out the leaders of IRGC and the supreme leadership, I welcome those. No, I do not welcome attacks on energy bases because that hurts the Iranian people. I do not, obviously, I don't welcome any attacks on civilian, on places that could have a lot of civilian casualties, but any attack on military bases, on nuclear facilities, in places where they're doing enrichment of uranium, not the places where they're turning uranium into energy, and also on key leaders of the Islamic Republic, I will welcome that. So it really depends on the type of attack. CC saying, either you're paid by Israel or paid by Qatar. I don't know. That sounds like a false dichotomy. But I am paid by Israel because I sometimes get super chats. Guys, if you want to send us any super chats, I will read the super chats, so that will help this channel grow. and we got a major super chat already at the beginning of the show, but more is always welcome. But we on this channel, we sometimes get super chats, we get shekels from Israel. So I'm proudly funded by Israel in that sense. Maybe one day somebody from Qatar will send us a super chat, and we say we're funded by Qatar as well. Sina Loa say Armin Israel murdered over 400 and wounded over 500 Palestinians, potentially missing arms, legs, etc. in airstrikes. First of all, when somebody says Israel instead of Israel, you can know that these people are idiots, and it's good that they signal their idiocy right at the beginning. The deaths of the people in Palestine right now because of Israel is Hamas is responsible for it. They violated the ceasefire agreement, so the death of those people is all upon Hamas, not on Israel. So yeah, it's easy. It's the anti-Israel people. It's easy to. It's like killing bugs. It's so easy. Oh, look, actually, I shouldn't say that because YouTube might think I'm saying something else. I'm just saying it's as easy as that. It's just so easy to shut them down. Saying there may be a better income from, There may be a better income from. I don't know what this means. Sorry. Mohammed saying, Armin, in terms of weaponry, numbers, and power, who is more powerful, IRGC or the other one? Is the regular military full of normal Iranians and not Ayatollah supporters? Okay, so actually, I am going to do a stream on this because we have the IRGC and we have the Artesh. Okay, the IRGC commanders are all fucking lost, crazy people who are very loyal to the regime. But also its body is the vast majority of its body is also to ideological Islamic people that cannot be trusted. The Artesh, the leaders of it, have also in the past couple of years have slowly been replaced with people who are very loyal. So the leaders of the main leaders of that are maybe too far gone. But the body of the Artesh, that's where our hope is. There are many people within the body of the Artesh that would potentially want to do a coup against the Islamic Republic. Okay, so with regards to the numbers, my understanding is that the Artesh has higher numbers, but the IRGC, if I'm correct, has much. I know about this one. The IRGC has a lot more money, and every year the Islamic Republic tries to shift the budget of the Artesh to the budget of the IRGC. I could double check if that's true. I could check if that's true. Okay. Okay, so regular full normal Iranians. It's not. Yeah. So the Artesh is a mix of people. There's a potential within the Artesh for a coup d'état in Iran. And that's what and some people, and to be honest, and there are still some key people, maybe even within IRGC, that are potentially could be turned around against the government as well. And that's what Prince Reza Pahlavi has been focusing on. This is one of the greatest weaknesses of the Iranian regime. And Prince Reza Pahlavi is in contact with the people within IRGC and the Artesh that are potentially would be defecting against the regime, joining the people. But the Artesh is a better source of this happening than the IRGC. So let me see if I was correct about this. The IRGC is bigger in terms of funding, influence, and operational scope, but the Artesh has more personnel. I was completely right about this, right? So I said within terms of numbers, the Artesh is bigger, but when it comes to money and influence, yes, the IRGC is bigger. The IRGC has grown to be much more than just a military unit. The IRGC, it used to be just a military unit, but now it controls 2/3 of Iran's economy, and it has a lot of influence in politics, and it has completely taken over a lot of Iranians' politics. But the Artesh hasn't. Artesh is only a military unit and nothing else. Okay, so Ging is saying, I am Israeli and I'm helping to finance Armin. Yes, thank you, guys. Zionist funded. I told you, here are the shekels. Thank you so much for the shekel. Oh, and Susie is here. Hi, Susie. Thank you for being here, Susie. Okay. Oh, here. Was saying, I mean that the Houthis can deliver Yemeni honey to Israel instead of missiles and get paid that way instead of as working as Houthi fighters. Okay. I still don't understand, but Yemeni honey. I still don't understand what's happening here. Anyways, but I'm sure people who were supposed to understood what you were saying. They understood it. Anyways, let's move on to Michael Waltz.
Trump's national security advisor, Mike Waltz. Good morning, Mr. Waltz. Let's get right to this. We have seen strikes like this before under the Biden administration. The Houthis kept firing missiles. What's different with this?
Well, thank you. And the difference is these were not kind of pinprick back and forth, what ultimately proved to be feckless attacks. This was an overwhelming response that actually targeted multiple Houthi leaders and took them out. And the difference here is...
Okay, so that's a very key point. Targeted Houthi leaders. Do you understand the significance of that? Because when the Biden administration, when they attacked the Houthis in Yemen, in response to the Yemenis attacking ships and shit, they just attacked their military sites and with minimal casualty and stuff like that. Okay, but the Trump administration is taking out the Houthi leaders, and this is, I think, one of the major reasons why the Iranian regime is fucking afraid. Let me actually tell you what the calculation is here, and if you understand this, you will understand the dynamics at play here more than vast 99.9% of the people who are following this. Okay, so the Islamic Republic has this always has this calculation in its mind, right? There are three threats to the Islamic Republic, three main threats. One threat is an external threat. The two and three are internal threats. The external threat is the military threat and the other types of pressure threat by the United States and Israel on the Islamic Republic. They are afraid of that. The second threat is higher than they're afraid of the second threat more than the third threat, okay, more than the first one that I just mentioned, which is a popular national uprising of the Iranian people against the regime. That's the second one, more important than the first one, and they are also afraid of that, okay? However, the third threat, which is the highest threat that they always experience, okay, they always are afraid of, is internal fight between the hardliners, their own people turning against the regime. That is their number one threat. And there used to be two things that sparked hardliners religious hardliners turning against the regime. Two main ones. Okay, and I will do a show on this because I have recently found a lot more evidence that shows that we have always been right about this analysis, and things have now escalated and they are fighting with each other in a way that you have never seen before. And this is what the Islamic Republic is afraid of the most. And the two things that used to spark this the most, one was the high number of Iranian women who are not wearing hijab in the streets. That makes because the Islamic Republic is unable to enforce hijab laws like it used to be because of the mass and high number of Iranian women who are not wearing hijab. And the reason why the Islamic Republic cannot enforce that anymore is because when they try to enforce it, often something bad happens, somebody gets injured or somebody dies, and that sparks revolutionary movements. So they are very sensitive about enforcing hijab laws, and because they're sensitive about that, a lot of Iranian women are not wearing hijab anymore, and that makes the hardliners turn against the regime because they think that the regime is not Islamic anymore. So that's number one, the hijab issue. Two, Israel attacking the proxies of the Islamic Republic or Islamic Republic itself, and the response by the Islamic Republic being weak. So the enemies of the Islamic regime, your response not being strong enough is turning a lot of hardliners against the regime. That's number two. And number three, which is now these used to be the main two, but now a new third one is being added. which is to negotiate or not to negotiate, to talk to Trump or not talk to Trump. A lot of hardliners would basically are very sensitive that we should not be talking to Trump. He's the murderer of Qasem Soleimani. He's threatening us. We should be defiant. We should be standing strong against Trump. Any negotiation with Trump is absolute humiliation for the regime. And anybody who even suggests that is a traitor and the enemy of all Muslims worldwide. So we should. But some hardliners are noticing that if we don't negotiate with Trump, he's going to come and destroy us. So we kind of have to negotiate with him. So there's internal fighting over that as well. So these are the three reasons why the hardliners are turning on hardliners. And I will do a full stream on that, and I will show you evidence that we have been completely right about this, right? So going back to what Waltz just said here, right? So Waltz said that the type of attacks that we did, we went for the heads of the Houthis. So why does this complicate things for the Iranian regime, right? Because the Iranian regime's calculation regarding a potential war by United States with Israel is that as devastating as that would be, it's not going to be as threatening to the regime falling as the hardliners turning us, because that's our last remaining base of support. The hardliners are the last remaining small base of support for the Iranian regime, and the Iranian regime cannot afford to lose that, right? So imagine if you're Khamenei, you think like I can do two things. I could be negotiating with Trump, go easy on things, like try to tone things down, and remove the threat of military attacks on Iranian soil. That would be good. But if I do that, more religious maniacs in Iran will turn against the regime. So I have to choose which one is a bigger threat: to negotiate with Trump and remove the external threat, but then have an internal threat of my own people turning against me, or stand defiant and then have a military attack, okay? But a military attack is not going to topple the regime. It's going to be devastating, but we know that neither Israel or the United States is going to have boots on the ground on Iranian soil. And because they're not going to do that, what's going to happen? We're going to lose some of our nuclear facilities. We're going to lose some of our military facilities. We will go through, as long as we could maintain control over our people. Oh, hi, Roy. As long as we can maintain control over our people, that's going to be devastating, but it's not going to topple us, right? So sure, let's let the war happen. Let us suffer the consequences. We will survive it. So let's not negotiate with Trump to at least maintain the hardliners on our side, right? However, this changes the calculation. Why? Because you're not going to be surviving if you're dead, right? Because Trump, if the type of attack that Trump is going to do on Iranian soil is not just the military facilities, it's not just the nuclear facilities, but it's your goddamn bedroom, then things are changed in your mind as an IRGC leader. Like, okay, yeah, no, that's not, I mean, I don't know if the regime is going to be toppled or not, but my ass is going to be toppled. I know about that. If I have a missile up my ass while I'm sleeping in my bedroom, that's not something I'm willing to tolerate in any way. Like, so this changes the calculation for a lot of the Iranian regime officials in a much more dramatic way, right? Because it's one thing to tolerate losing some nuclear facilities or losing some military bases. It's another thing for you to just be blown to pieces. That is a level of escalation. And basically that's what the Trump administration is doing by attacking the Houthis in this way, by attacking the leaders of the Houthis where they live. They're telling the Islamic Republic, you better come to the negotiating table because our attacks on your soil is going to be of a different kind. You got it? You got it? Does that make sense? Has anybody explained this to you in the way I've explained it to you today here? Like, do you guys not appreciate what I just? Nobody. I promise you, nobody has explained this to you the way I did this today. In the past 5 minutes, the words that came out of my mouth, if you understood what I said, you have now an understanding of the politics of the Islamic Republic more than most analysts. Okay, so congratulations for the level of education that you just received from me. I hope you appreciate it. Oh, sorry, saying we appreciate your detailed explanations of. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you saying that. I also appreciate RJ with the super chat. RJ saying, how do they get away with insulting Prophet Israel? Why do Muslims always try to kill the dissidents of their prophets? Prophet Israel. Okay, so they consider when they say Israel, they're not talking about the prophet, they're talking about Israel, the country. And they don't even call it, so many times they don't even call it Israel, they call it the Zionist state, right? Why do Muslims always try to call the dissidents of their prophets? They don't consider the dissidents of their prophets to be as good as the prophets themselves, right? In fact, they think that the Jews were not worthy of the religions of the Islam that their prophets brought, because they consider the Jewish prophets to also be Muslim. And let me just really quick tell you this very quickly. Okay, so we had Ishmael and Isaac, the two sons of Abraham, right? So from an Islamic perspective, again, many Muslims don't know this, but this is the Islamic perspective, right? God had promised to Abraham that his children are going to be special, right? But we had the Arabs, which were the children of Ishmael, and the Jews, who were the children of Isaac. And the Arabs were actually the better people for the message of God, according to the Islamic tradition. But to show that the message, the revelation of God first had to be revealed to the Jews, so that the world could see that the Jews were not worthy of the revelation, that they would try to change the revelation, that they would not follow the commands of God. So after that demonstration, then we will go to the other children of Abraham, which were the Arabs, and then the revelation will come to them, because the Jews had to show that they were not the right people. They were chosen at first to demonstrate that they were not worthy. So that's the narrative. Okay, let's continue.
One, going after the Houthi leadership, and two, holding Iran responsible. It is Iran that has repeatedly funded, resourced, trained, and helped the Houthis target not only U.S. warships, but global commerce, and has helped the Houthis shut down two of the world's most strategic sea lanes. We have, Martha, 70% of global shipping is now diverting around Southern Africa, adding to the cost of goods, disrupting global economies, adding to...
Yeah, and it's interesting because the Houthis... Oh, let me tell you something about the Houthis doing piracy on trading sea routes, and why they're doing what they're doing, okay? Because a lot of people don't understand. I will tell you this about the Houthis, and again, this will make you understand things on a much deeper level than most people as well. So let me explain this, why they are actually doing, because a lot of people think the Houthis are attacking the ships in defense of people in Gaza. Guys, who here believes that Houthis, when they attack these ships, these these commercial ships in these shipping routes, they're doing it in defense, as a way to attack Israel in defense of people in Gaza? Who here believes that? I'll give you some time to think about that, and let me know in the chat if you think that's really what this is about. But while you do that, let me respond to Muhammad Harith, who's saying, Armin, I am Iraqi. Who do you think won the Iran-Iraq war? Muhammad, nobody won the Iraq-Iran war. Both sides were losers. I mean, I hope you agree with me on that. That was a fucking wasteful disaster. I mean, yeah, the Iranian people lost, the Iraqi people lost. Yeah, everybody lost. That was a devastating war. Like, do you agree with me that? I hope you agree with me on that. But let me see. I totally believe that. Totally. Okay. Let me tell you what the Houthis are doing. Okay, the Houthis. This is the difference between the Houthis and the other proxies of the Islamic Republic. Okay, the other proxies of the Islamic Republic, like Hamas, Hezbollah, Kataib, Hashishabi, they evolved into something more than just military. Okay, so Hamas is not just a military unit. They have politics, they have economic operations, they do a whole bunch of stuff. They turn into a money-making institution, and part of what they do is military operation. so has Hezbollah, so has all the other proxies of the Islamic Republic. Okay, and this is why you could hurt them. So, for example, Hezbollah doesn't want to go to didn't want to go to a head-to-head confrontational war with Israel, because it's not just militarily they were becoming powerful, they were politically becoming powerful, and they were financially becoming powerful. One of the major operations of Hezbollah was selling drugs into Europe and making shit ton of money from that, right? That's one of the major operations of Hezbollah. They don't want to lose all of that stuff, right? So it's their interest was not into waging war. Their interest was into being a threat, but also not go to a full confrontational war, because they were happy with their growth in political power and economical power. So it didn't make sense for them to go into full-on war. They always wanted to be a threat, but avoid a threat in a way that they have deterrence capacity to a level that they never actually go to a full head-to-head confrontational war with either Israel or United States or anywhere else. Okay. This is true about the Islamic Republic and all the proxies of the Islamic Republic. This is not true about the Houthis. The reason why this is not true about the Houthis is because the Houthis have no other major sources of income other than piracy. Okay, so piracy is the bread and butter of the Houthis. So they want to be at war because that's how that's their source of income. So they always need an excuse for being at war. Okay, they also they have to somehow sell this at home to why we're at war out all the time. And the best way to convince everybody why we need to be at war is Palestine and being anti-Jewish. Okay, so because they always have an excuse for Israel harming the Palestinian people, and they have basically advertise themselves as the main champion of the Palestinian people, and their piracy, they sell their piracy as defending the Palestinian people. This is another example why the so-called pro-Palestinians, the vast majority of them, are basically making money out of Palestinian blood. And there's no better example of that than the Houthis themselves. This is why the pro-Palestinian cause is the most anti-Palestinian thing ever created in the history of Palestine ever being a thing, which is actually a very short amount of time, right? There's nothing more harmful to the so-called Palestinians than the pro-Palestinian cause, because all of them, especially the Houthis, benefit from Palestinian misery and Palestinian tears and Palestinian blood. Okay, so the argument is that we're attacking these ships because we're defending Gaza. Okay, but the actual reason is we're attacking the ships because that's how we make our money. But also another reason is back at home in Yemen, if you were just doing piracy and waging war and bringing war to your country, that is very unpopular, because any government that is causing this much instability to our country is going to be very unpopular, as you could see by the popularity numbers that I just read to you at the beginning of the show of the Houthis in Yemen. However, the Houthis try to counter that by saying that we're doing this for Palestinians and against the Jews. And if you are against this war, then you're a Zionist. Okay, and like, are you not interested with being anti-Jewish, my friend? Like, are you sure about that? Is that really what you want to say? Like in Yemen, like if you were a Yemeni person and like, hey, like maybe should we stop fighting and like building shit maybe here in Yemen? Like, oh, so you are a Jew sympathizer. Okay, that's very interesting. Do you know what we do to Jewish sympathizers here in Yemen? Yeah, okay, like I'm sure you will find out very soon. Yeah, okay, so that's how, and just to show you how this is why this is their flag. Okay. This is, I mean, I know a lot of you already know this. Let me actually open this in a new chat. Yeah, okay. So this is why this is their flag. By the way, guys, I know a lot of you on this channel already know this, but this flag, this is not because of low resolution that it looks like this. This is the actual design of the Houthi flag. This is the actual Houthi flag, and these spikes were actually, somebody decided that these spikes actually look good. These spikes, this was on purpose. I don't know who made this, if they made this on Microsoft Paint or whatever, but what it says, again, I have to be careful reading this flag because I got demonetized last time I read it out loud. Okay, so the official flag of the Houthis has 4 lines. The first line says Allahu Akbar, God is the great test, or God is great terror, I think is the better translation. Okay, the second line it says D to America. Again, I'm not going to say this out loud because of the Persian channel. I read this and I got demonetized. I usually don't get demonetized in the Persian channel, but this demonetized us. Okay, so D meaning unaliving, D to America, D to Israel, and here's the fourth line is the most interesting one. Curse be upon the J people. Okay, curse be upon the J people. Again, YouTube, we do not endorse these messages. Please do not demonetize us. I'm just telling people what the Houthis, the anti-Semitic nature of the Houthis. Okay, so this fourth, because D to Israel, a lot of people are saying, no, we're not anti-Semitic, we're just anti-Israel, we're just anti-Zionism. But the Houthis, have no chill. They're saying curse be upon the J people. Like they just say it, like it's on their official flag. And the last line says victory to Islam. Okay, so that's the type of people they are. And again, a lot of people think that this is just based on crazy ideological stuff. I mean, it is that, but to be fair, it also is strategic. By acting like this is the strategy that the Islamic Republic uses as well. By acting like they are the most butthurt over Gaza and we are the most anti-Jewish. Like we're proud of it. We're anti-Jewish. We're proud of it. Like they brag about that. We say the things that other people don't dare say. Like, so they try to get popular Islamic support by being the most aggressive anti-Jewish people out there and the champions and the warriors for the Palestinian cause to justify their piracy. They're attacking on ships. And guys, these are not Israeli ships. The vast majority of the ships that they attack are not Israeli. Okay, I mean they're Israeli. Some of them are Israeli in the sense that one day a half Jewish person used the toilet in one of these ships, and now the entire ship is Israeli Zionist ship. With so like you have to see how they justify some of these ships being Zionist. Like, oh, this company partially owns some of these goods, and one of the board members of this company that owns partial shares on the products that is being sold here has a Jewish mother. The entire ship is now Zionist ship. Fuck, the whole thing is legitimate attack. Okay, that's how they consider it. The degrees of separation between how a ship is commercial ships are become Zionist is actually impressive. Like somebody needs to actually do a full-on show about what Houthis considers, because based on the way that they consider something to be completely Zionist, I'm pretty sure they will be Zionists, because I would somehow be able to connect them to Zionism as well, the way that based on their standards. Okay. Anyways, the ships that they attack has mostly been, it has been devastating to the world economy, to be honest. However, it has been the most devastating, I kid you not, to Islamic countries. For example, Egypt. Okay, because the trading route in the Red Sea is actually not where most of the commercial trade, the main commercial trading routes for Israel, it actually goes through the Mediterranean Sea. But the main countries that have been devastated from the attacks on the ships by the Houthis have been Islamic countries. For example, Egypt. Susanna saying, if you look hard enough, you will find a Jew. Yeah, exactly. You have to really try, but they do it. That's what they do. Anyway, so now you guys understand the reason why on the emphasis on Palestine by the Houthis and the actual motivation. I mean, think about it. If you're the Houthis, your calculation is like, if I attack these ships, Americans are going to come and bomb some places on some point to point, and that's going to be costly for me. Like, especially the Biden administration, they're going to come and bomb our harbor and blah, blah, blah. That's going to be mostly a cost to our civilians. They're going to take out some of our military sites. Okay, yeah, that's a major cost to us. But if I stop doing piracy, that is the cutting of my main source of my fucking income. So the cost associated with continuing the piracy is less than the cost associated with stopping the piracy. So obviously, if you're a Houthi, you're like, yeah, I'm going to continue doing the piracy, even if you come bomb a few places here and there. However, the Trump administration might have changed the calculations by saying, like, you know what, we're going to come and bomb your home. How about that? How about that? How about that? So we'll see what the response to that is going to be. Okay. Yeah. So let's continue this.
Or shutting off supplies to the United States. President Trump has found it unacceptable. What we inherited was a terrible situation. And this is one of what will be a sustained effort to right that wrong and to reopen global commerce.
And Mr.
So by the way, one thing I noticed with regards to all the people who work for the Trump administration, it seems like they know that when they're speaking in mainstream media, Trump is watching. And one thing that they all seem to do, because Trump loves it, is to shit on the Biden administration. Okay, the Biden administration, like, okay, so why is Trump is doing this? Well, let me first tell you how the Biden administration fucked up, and then I will tell you why we're doing it better. And I think they do that because Trump loves it when you do that. So they're doing that because they know Trump is watching.
Well, let me read from what President Trump said.
And also, to be fair, Biden administration did fuck up.
On Truth Social, he said to Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Do not threaten the American people or worldwide shipping lanes. If you do, beware, because America will hold you fully accountable. Does that mean direct military action on Iran is possible?
Well, all options are always on the table with the president. But Iran needs to.
Yeah, by the way, the word all options are on the table is basically a nothing answer. Okay. Obviously, all, like, which administration comes on, like, no, we're going to completely remove this option and basically tie our hands. That's a nothing answer. By the way, this video came out before Trump came out and said that the Iranian regime is going to be responsible now for every single attack that the Houthis have done. So this video was right before, like a few hours before, the main escalation that Trump had posted on his Truth Social.
To hear him loud and clear. It is completely unacceptable, and it will be stopped. The level of support that they've been providing the Houthis, just like they have Hezbollah, just like they have the militias in Iraq, Hamas, and others. The difference here is the Houthis have incredibly sophisticated air defenses, and they also have anti-shipping cruise missiles.
Do they? I didn't know that. Like, do they have air defenses? Okay, so I mean, they have been able to. Depends on what you mean incredibly. That's a relative thing. Incredibly advanced air defense systems. So they have been impressive in the way that the Houthis unexpectedly have been able to take down some American drones. Okay, American drones. They have been able to take that down. So that is impressive for the Houthis, okay? But it's not impressive relative to standards of advanced countries. For example, the Houthis will never be able to take down like an American plane, right? Or a Navy ship of like that. They're not, like, that's the most they could do. But to be fair, that has been impressive that they, based on their standard, based on that level of what a militia is supposed to be at, yes, that could be considered advanced. But it's still not nearly as advanced to be a threat for the main assets of, like, for example, United States military.
Air defenses, and they also have.
Yeah, so I'm kind of saying, hello, air defense, they can maybe throw stones in the air. No, that's not true. The Houthis have become. They have been equipped with a lot of weaponry by the Islamic Republic. They have been able to take down some U.S. drones. I mean, that's not like a advanced country's military level. You know, for example, imagine the Houthis will never be able to take down, like, for example, an F-35, for example. They could never even dream of doing something like that. But it's still very interesting that they managed to take down some drones. Oh, okay, let's continue.
Have anti-shipping cruise missiles, drones, sea skimming types of attack drones, and other ballistic missiles even. They've launched dozens of attacks on multiple warships. dozens of attacks, over 175 on global commerce, sank multiple ships. I just think the American people need to understand what has happened here. The previous administration had a series of feckless responses. President Trump is coming in with overwhelming force. We will hold not only the Houthis accountable, but we're going to hold Iran, their backers, accountable as well. And if that,
so this emphasis on holding the Islamic Republic in Iran accountable is huge, okay? Because remember, this came out of almost nowhere, because the Houthis actually haven't been attacking any ships for a few months now. And all of a sudden, Trump came out and said, like, oh yeah, let's go fuck up the Houthis. And by the way, the Islamic Republic is responsible for that. Like, this is just like, oh, what? Like, this is seems to be a deliberate warning to the Islamic Republics using the Houthis. Like, this attack on the Houthis seems to be more about the Iranian regime than the Houthis themselves. I got a super chat. I will read that soon, but let's
means they're targeting ships that they have put in to help their Iranian trainers, IRGC and others, that intelligence, other things that they have put in to help the Houthis attack the global economy. Those targets will be on the table too.
And the president has said Iran will not be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. A week ago, warning that Iran, something is going to happen very, very soon that will solve the problem if there is no peace deal, and talking about nuclear weapons. So what is he?
By the way, are there any MAGA people in the chat? Because, you know, I welcome the Trump administration going, you know, escalating things to this level against Islamic Republic. I welcome it personally. But a lot of MAGA people voted for Trump not to do stuff like this. So what are there any MAGA people here disappointed? You know, because a lot of people, the reason why they voted for Trump is to do less military activities and be less involved. And now he's right at the moment that the Houthis haven't been attacking any ships for a couple of months. Trump came out and said, like, oh yeah, let's go, you know, fuck these Houthis up and kill their leaders, and tell the Iranian regime that if you shoot a single bullet towards any of America, if the Houthis shoot a single bullet towards any Americans, we're coming for you militarily. So is there any MAGA person here who's like, wait a minute, that I voted for Trump specifically for not doing that? Oh, Susanna saying a lot of MAGA people that I have seen are pissed. Yes. So it's interesting because this is something that I welcome as a non-MAGA person, but a lot of MAGA people might be upset. Carl saying, yes, not very isolationist of him. Yes, interesting. So one person who is very pissed off is Tucker Carlson, which I might do a show on his recent fucking shit takes. But let's continue.
What is he talking about? Is he talking about a possible strike on the nuclear facilities by Israel?
Yeah, so Darker is saying, what does no new wars even actually mean, really? Yeah, so the word that they're using is peace through strength. So they were like saying, we were not going to bring any war, and now not bringing any new wars apparently means peace through strength, and peace through strength means war. It means, like, I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, you need to bring peace by demonstrating strength. But that's not the equation. That's not the calculation that the MAGA people had in mind when they voted for Trump.
Israel, and would the U.S. join in that?
Oh, so here we have. So Chuck is saying, "Dear Armin, as a MAGA person, I do not want any wars or invasion in the next 4 years." Okay, so you would be upset with Trump if Trump starts bombing. I mean, we already got some war. Like, we already have Americans bombing Yemen, so it just happened under Trump administration.
Well, what the president has has repeatedly said is that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. All options are on the table to ensure it does not have one. And that's all aspects of Iran's program. That's the missiles, the weaponization, the enrichment. They can either hand it over and give it up in a way that is verifiable, or they can face a whole series of other consequences. But either way,
yeah, the verifiable part is the tricky part, okay? Because to make it verifiable is going to be very humiliating. That means that Americans have to find some sort of presence within Iranian soil, either by somebody that they actually could trust, in ways that it would be very humiliating for the supreme leader to accept. They would want cameras everywhere. They want people to be able to come in and out and check things. And if the supreme leader accepted the verifiable part, the level of humiliation would be, especially writing a deal with this much humiliation to the person that killed Qasem Soleimani, it would be devastating for Khamenei's image among his supporters. The only way Khamenei could basically save himself from being humiliated in the eyes of his own people is by acting like the Iranian regime has been infiltrated by Zionists, and Zionists are controlling the Iranian regime. I kid you not, that's actually a narrative that many hardliners use to try to save Khamenei from the decisions that he's making. I am not exaggerating. A lot of hardliners, because all of this humiliation, the way they try to defend Khamenei is by saying Khamenei is not making these decisions. There are Zionists within the Iranian regime making these decisions. Oh, so RJ is saying technically it's not a new war. The US has been bombing Yemen since Bush. Yeah, but that's a good way of selling it to the MAGA people. However, if it escalates into doing bombings on Iranian soil, then you wouldn't have that way out. But that's a good way of selling it to the MAGA people. Maybe, yeah. Oh, also, RJ gave us a super chat saying the Biden administration did it first by mentioning the what admin? The warrior? What is that? Okay, in a negative light, or the previous, I think you mean the previous administration in a negative light, and his predecessors and negatively when he first got in office. Yeah, I mean, all politicians, like the politicians who are against the previous administrations, they all do that. So I wasn't saying that this was a uniquely Trump thing to do. Trump just does it more colorfully. Okay. All right, let's continue.
We cannot have a world with the Ayatollahs with their finger on the nuclear button. We cannot have a situation that would result in an arms race across the Middle East in terms of nuclear proliferation. And President Trump is determined one way or another. Iran.
Yes. So guys, here sometimes we criticize Trump's over, for example, his tariffs and some of the other things that he does. Him waging, like, so for example, one thing that we criticize Trump here for is like the position they're getting the tariff war, especially against Mexico. Okay, because doing more trade with Mexico was one of the best ways that you could take a position against China. But anyways, I'm not going to get over those criticisms, right? But other than that, like I don't know what the MAGA people want, but I like this. I like this no nonsense, no appeasement, no tolerance for the Islamic Republic becoming nuclear. Like, yeah, this is the correct, like, regardless of the criticisms I have with Trump over his tariffs, these positions over, accepting no amount of nonsense for the Islamic Republic, I really welcome this. This is freaking amazing. Oh, prior. So RJ was saying prior. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
And President Trump is determined one way or another. Iran has been offered a way out of this to make sure that we don't have a world that can be threatened by a radical regime, not only our ally Israel, but the entire world that would be threatened by a radical regime that could destroy not only Israel, but its neighbors and have the capability to hit the United States. Martha, we cannot imagine a situation like that, and we're not going to have it.
I want to turn to Ukraine now.
Nope, not Ukraine. Anyways, I think that's good enough here. I just quickly will tell you that here we had Marco Rubio here on Face the Nation also mentioning, I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm just going to mention that Marco Rubio, when he was talking about it, he basically ruled out boots on the ground or a ground invasion of either Yemen or Iran. So this is why I'm telling you that no amount of military attacks by itself on the Iranian regime is going to topple the regime. Something needs to happen internally. So it needs to be a combination of three forces: outside pressure, a national uprising of the Iranian people, an internal conflict between the supporters of the regime, and also a lot of people defecting from the regime towards the people. And when it comes to the popular uprising and national uprising of the Iranian people, and also having a force that could accept and attract the people, the military people from the Artesh and the IRGC, to come under an umbrella of the Iranian people against the regime. We have a person named Prince Reza Pahlavi, who is the most effective in making this process easy, both of this easier, right? So when it comes to making sure that if the regime in Iran, if it topples, there's no power vacuum, Prince Reza Pahlavi is the best option for us to recognize and support. When it comes from the Iranian people, using a name and a person and a leader as a symbol of unity, Prince Reza Pahlavi is the main person that many of us are basically gathering around. And also, when it comes to people who are defecting from the regime and trying to join another leader against the regime, especially from the military units, again, Prince Reza Pahlavi is the most important person for that as well, right? So that's why the opposition is becoming a lot more mature around the name Prince Reza Pahlavi. So I encourage you to maybe familiarize yourself with that name and who that person is and what his views are. And also encourage your politicians to actually meet with Prince Reza Pahlavi. If you call up your members of parliament or Congress, or based on the country that you're living in, and try to encourage them to meet with Prince Reza Pahlavi. Okay, and let me know, guys, if you want me to do a show. More shows focusing on Prince Reza Pahlavi and who he is and why it's important to the future of Iran. By the way, Prince Reza Pahlavi has very good relationships with Israel as well. So he's a good person to increase the tie between the Iranian people and the Israeli people. So he's very important in that regards as well. Anyways, I don't want to make the show longer than 2 hours. Let me see. Okay, so Sarah highlighted start this comment saying, Jonah is saying, do you think that the Iranian regime will be toppled eventually? I don't know, and nobody could tell you that. Well, I mean, eventually is a very eventually, yes, because eventually the whole universe is going to be destroyed. So everything, so nothing is going to last forever. But the question is when. The question is not would it eventually be toppled. The question is is it within our lifetime? Like, are we going to get to see it? Because eventually every regime is going to be toppled. But so with regards to when, I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows. But the point is that whether it happens or it doesn't happen, it makes sense to try for it. It makes sense because the Iranian people are under bone-breaking pressure under this regime. Like, I could tell you if I go over what's happening in Iran and what Iranian people are experiencing under the extreme levels of poverty that this regime is bringing to the Iranian people, and all their crimes and all their mismanagement and all the evil that it's doing, it's going to be a very dark show. But it's like every fucking second that this regime is in power, the amount of harm and misery is unimaginable. If you could just hasten that day, speed it up just by a second, you're doing the whole world, not just the Iranian people, but the whole world, a greater service by making that day come sooner. So the important thing is that we have to try our best to make it happen, whether it happens or not. Oh, Nima is here. Hi, Nima. Oh, good thing Nima is here. Guys, we need volunteers, and you could actually contact Nima. By the way, guys, thank Nima also. Nima is doing, just like Susanna is doing a lot of work behind the scenes for our channel. and she doesn't get appreciated as much as she should be, because she's not doing it right in front of the cameras. Nima also is doing a lot of work, a lot of editing work, a lot of management work, behind the scenes, not in front of the cameras. And I think he should be appreciated for all the work that he's doing. And Nima is also the person who would accept your emails. If I could find his email. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is Nima's email. And if you want to volunteer by highlighting the comments, so for example, today Sarah was highlighting the comments. Thank you so much, Sarah, for highlighting the comments today. But sometimes, like, some of our volunteers can't, basically they're working so hard, like they're here every time highlighting the comments. It would be good if we could spread the work among more volunteers, so that they don't, so that they could share the load of the work, right? So if you want to help us highlight the comments on the English channel or on the Persian channel, email Nima and tell Nima that you would want to volunteer just highlighting the comments, okay? And Nima has to do some, checkups and some other things, and then he will contact me and we will add you to the group for comment highlighting. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you for liking the stream. Shame on you. Shame on you. If you watched the stream and did not like. Again, guys, if you're driving, please do not like right now, but like it later. If you're washing the dishes, or if you're walking your dogs with one hand and holding a cup in your other hand, it's okay. I understand. You don't have to like right now. But if your hands are free, please like the stream right now. If your hands are not free, please come back and like the stream once you're able to do so. There is no excuse for not liking the stream. It takes half a second and it really, really helps us. So please go ahead and do that. And yeah, shame on you if you don't do that, okay? I'm going to shame you, okay? I'm not going to hold back. Yes, like the stream or else. Yes, exactly. Heavy grip. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Nima. And thank you to all the rest of the Atheist Republic team behind the scenes doing all they do. And till next stream, bye-bye. Oh, I love Atheist Republic. Oh, thank you. I love you too. Okay.